What is going on?
Abuela, it's okay. We're gonna save the miracle. The magic.
What are you talking about? Look at our home. Look at your sister.
Please, just...
When you think back to Encanto, one of the things that still sticks with fans is Bruno Madrigal. The guy was mysterious, misunderstood, and basically the emotional core of the whole movie, even though Disney didn't really give him the spotlight he deserved. And that's exactly why people keep talking about how Encanto 2 could fix one of the biggest missed opportunities of the first film. Because let's be honest, for a character who was such a huge part of the story and the soundtrack's biggest hit, Bruno didn't actually get that much time to shine. The setup of Encanto itself was already emotional. We start in Colombia, where Alma Madrigal escaped an armed conflict with her husband and her kids. Tragedy strikes because her husband, Pedro, dies during that escape. But then, something incredible happens. The magic candle Alma carries creates a miracle, protecting her family in a magical realm and giving her descendants extraordinary powers. From there, we get the vibrant, chaotic Madrigal family that fans instantly fell in love with. Now, among all these colorful relatives, Bruno stands out. He was one of Alma's original 3 kids and was gifted with the power to see into the future. The problem? That power quickly turned into a curse, at least in the eyes of everyone around him. Because his visions often revealed things that nobody wanted to hear, people started treating him like a problem instead of a blessing. This is exactly why the whole town started whispering about him in the now iconic We Don't Talk About Bruno. The song blew up everywhere, topping charts in both the US and the UK, getting stuck in everyone's heads and turning into one of Disney's most viral hits in years. But here's where the real issue comes in. Bruno himself never actually gets a solo song. Think about it, his entire character is built up through other people's perspectives, whether it's family members or neighbors. They talk about how his visions ruined weddings or caused headaches, but he never gets to sing his side of the story. Sure, he's part of the big ensemble number All of You at the end, but that's a family song, not his own moment. And considering how much hype there was around his character, it feels like a wasted chance. It's even more frustrating when you remember that Bruno's voice actor John Leguizamo isn't just a great actor, but also a talented singer. He proved his vocal chops in Moulin Rouge, held his own in All of You, and even made goofy singing work as Sid the Sloth in Ice Age. So it's almost criminal that Disney didn't let him take center stage with a song. Bruno's story is filled with pain, isolation, and the struggle of carrying a gift that feels more like a burden. Imagine the emotional power of a ballad where he finally gets to explain what it's like to live with that. That's why so many fans believe Encanto 2 has a golden opportunity. A solo Bruno song could dig into everything he's been through, because even though the first film ends with him being welcomed back into the family, it's not like he can just snap his fingers and forget years of loneliness. He literally lived behind the walls of Casita with rats as his only friends. Transitioning back into normal family life wouldn't be easy. Dolores even hints at how heavy his gift is when she talks about how hearing his visions is overwhelming. So musically, a Bruno solo could reflect that anxious, eerie vibe, maybe darker than the usual Disney anthem. Picture a mix of haunting choirs, sharp brass notes, and intense rhythms to really capture the feeling of being trapped by fate. Disney could really use a big musical hit right now too. Some of their recent soundtracks like Wish and even Moana 2 didn't quite capture the magic people were expecting. So giving Bruno the solo he deserves in Encanto 2 could be the perfect way to deliver another breakout song. Of course, all this depends on whether we even get a sequel. Officially, Disney hasn't announced Encanto 2, but the signs are promising. Since its release in 2021, Encanto has turned into a global phenomenon. The box office was respectable at $257 million, but the real explosion happened once it hit streaming. TikTok sounds, cosplays, Halloween costumes, you name it, Encanto was everywhere. It even snagged an Oscar for Best Animated Feature. So naturally, producer Yvett Merino has been teasing that the company is exploring ways to keep the story alive. While she admits there's nothing official yet, she's made it clear that Disney is brainstorming ideas not just for the film but also for parks, merchandise, and more. Songwriter Lin-Manuel Miranda has been especially optimistic, calling a sequel a matter of when, not if. Some cast members like John Leguizamo and Stephanie Beatriz have been a little more cautious, saying they hope it happens but haven't heard anything solid yet. Still, considering how Disney loves to expand their successful IPs, it feels like only a matter of time. The first film wrapped up the main storyline pretty neatly. Mirabel proved her worth, the family rebuilt Casita, and everyone found new unity, but at the same time, it left plenty of doors open for more. There are unanswered questions about Mirabel's lack of powers, the family's deeper history, and even what life in the village looks like beyond Casita. So a sequel wouldn't feel forced, it would feel like a natural continuation. One of the biggest theories fans love is that Mirabel will eventually take over Abuela Alma's role as the head of the family. The parallels are all there. Neither Mirabel nor Alma has magical gifts, yet both are deeply connected to Casita. Mirabel was also the one who literally put the finishing touch on the new house with that doorknob. That symbolic act practically screams foreshadowing. So if Encanto 2 wants to explore leadership, responsibility, and generational legacy, Mirabel stepping into Abuela's shoes makes perfect sense. Another fan-favorite theory is that Mirabel will finally get powers of her own. Some argue she already does since she has a unique bond with Casita and represents the heart of the family. But others think her gift hasn't fully revealed itself yet. A sequel could show her going on a journey of self-discovery, maybe tied to Bruno's visions and unlocking abilities that have been dormant all along. If Disney wanted a big emotional punch, they could even connect her gift to Abuela's eventual passing on the miracle in a literal way. Speaking of Alma, her backstory could be another rich thread to explore. The first film only gave us glimpses of her early struggles, losing Pedro, raising triplets alone, and trying to hold everything together. A sequel could dive deeper into those years, showing her resilience and how the family's traditions began. That would not only add depth to Alma, but also highlight the theme of survival and love in the face of loss, which was at the heart of the first movie. Of course, sequels usually look for ways to raise the stakes. That's where the idea of introducing a villain comes in. Encanto didn't have one because the story was about family conflicts and emotional healing. But adding an external antagonist in Encanto 2 could bring fresh tension. Maybe a villager who resents the Madrigals, or even another family blessed with powers but using them selfishly. The thought that the Madrigals aren't the only magical family out there could open up a bunch of interesting storylines. Another route would be focusing more on the supporting characters. Fans loved Luisa, Camilo, Dolores, and even the dads, but they didn't get much screen time. Giving them arcs in the sequel could help flesh out the world. A scene where Felix, Agustin, and maybe even Mariano sing about what it's like to be normal men in a family of magical women could be hilarious and heartfelt. Lin-Manuel Miranda could easily turn that into another earworm. Then there's the cultural side. Encanto was praised for celebrating Colombian traditions, and a sequel could expand on that. A wedding between Dolores and Mariano, for example, would be a perfect chance to show off Colombian rituals, food, music, and fashion, while still sprinkling in that signature Disney magic. On top of that, sequels often upgrade powers. Frozen 2 did it, and Incredibles 2 did it, so why not Encanto 2? Maybe Isabella's control over plants evolves, or Luisa learns that strength isn't just physical. Bruno's visions could expand too. Perhaps now he sees not just the future, but multiple possibilities, making his gift both more powerful and more complicated. That would give him more weight in the family's dynamic and tie right back into why he deserves a solo. So when you put it all together, Encanto 2 doesn't just sound possible, it sounds inevitable. Bruno's unfinished arc is the clearest opportunity, but the movie could also dive into Mirabel's destiny, Alma's past, family growth, and even broader conflicts outside Casita. And with so many fans still enchanted by the world of the Madrigals, Disney would be missing out if they didn't give us another chapter. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.